Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel for another paint with me. And today I will be changing things a bit. And it has been such a long time that I have actually used real paints and paper to make anything instead of digital medium. So today I will be painting using gouache paints. It is the first time that I am using these paints. So the brand that I am using over here is Brustro, and they come in a set of 24 colors, and it is one of the most cheapest gouache paints that you can buy in India. Yes, there are other brands as well like Himi and Winsor Newton, but they would easily cost you around 3000 to 5000 rupees, which is quite expensive. And whereas these colors are well under 1000 bucks, which makes it perfect for people who want to try it out or are like beginners like me. I got to know about gouache paints quite recently thanks to YouTube videos and Instagram reels. I mean, they are everywhere and you can hardly ignore them, and everyone is crazy about them. So it made me quite curious to know about what these are. So I got them, and I must say they are really amazing to use, as well as the texture and everything about them. So when I was searching about gouache paints, I came to know that it comes from the word quaso, an Italian word which means mud-like, and that is because of the texture of the paint. It is quite thick, and unlike watercolor, it is very pigmented, and when it dries, it has a very matte finish and very opaque finish, which is nice and perfect for designers and illustrators. And I also got to know that it was one of the most famous or most widely used paint material, and to my surprise, it is the paint that was used in miniature painting. The Mughal miniature paintings that we see here in India were made using gouache, and it's so interesting to know that a material that has been there for such a quite some time was forgotten because other material were developed. Like in the 18th century, when oil paints were developed, gouache somehow lost its popularity among artists and oil paints took over, which is kind of sad because it is really amazing paint. I mean, you can't get this texture and this opacity with any other paint apart from acrylic, of course, but then you cannot reactivate them using water, which is kind of sad. So I would say gouache paints are somewhat in between watercolors and acrylics, which makes it perfect for people like me who love to make mistake and leave their paints open so they dry. And gouache gives you the flexibility to add some water and mix it and reuse them again. It feels quite nice using paper and paints after a long time, and I feel if you want to grow and improve your skill, this is the way it should be. Because once you've mastered this media, it is very easy to translate it in digital medium. Of course, you need to practice that as well, but using practical medias like paint, paper, or canvas, it gives you that understanding of how paint and paper works and how their relationship is, or how and what kind of paint takes how much time to actually dry, and how it looks when it has dried after some time. To master it is quite a challenge, but once it is mastered by you, you will not have any problem translating this knowledge in digital mediums. No, it's October and Halloween is also coming, but I don't know why, but I am obsessed with pumpkins these days and I'm drawing and painting pumpkin. I recently made one digitally as well and posted on my Instagram. If you want, you can check it out. The link is in the description. And if you like my work, don't forget to follow. So as you can see, the paint is highly pigmented and quite thick and has that mud-like texture to it, which makes it quite unique and apart from watercolors or poster paints, even though they are from the same family. And when I went out to buy these paints, I was told by the shopkeeper that tempera, poster, and watercolors and gouache are similar, only the name is different. But when I looked up online, there is a very small difference, which makes them stand apart from each other. Yes, watercolors, poster, tempera, and gouache are somewhat similar, but not exactly. If you consider watercolor being least saturated, you can say that the gouache paints are the most saturated when it comes to pigment, and poster and other colors, tempera, lie somewhere in between these. As I said earlier, it is more like acrylic when it comes to the opacity, but more like poster and watercolor when it comes to the way it behaves. If you use more water, it behaves like watercolors, and if you use less water, it is more or less like poster colors or tempera. So over here I made a mistake and I learned something about gouache. It's that you need to understand the balance between water and the paint, and it is quite tricky at first, but with time you get to know. So over here I used more water and that activated the layer below it and made the orange a little bit black. So I had to wait for it to dry and paint over it once it was dried using a thicker layer of paint. But the best thing about gouache is that it is forgiving. Like once it has dried, you can go over it, and no matter if you're going from dark to light or light to dark, it is forgiving and it lets you work on top of layers. But yes, you need to understand how those layers might work with compared to the amount of water and paint that you are using. So after adding few more leaves in the background to give it more depth, the painting is done. I had fun with it and it was a learning experience, especially with gouache, and I hope you like this video as well. So if you did, do give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.